This lockdown will remain engraved in my memory as a unique time of profound reflection. For weeks, I have tried to think of the best way to stay in touch with my pupils, your children. I imagine them locked up, finding it heartbreaking to be separated from their friends, finding it very difficult to discipline themselves to work on their daily assignments, maybe finding it impossible to put their phones down or to not talk back to their sometimes and so understandably exasperated parents. I want to tell you, I admire you for being moms and dads and educators and cooks and doing your job all at once. What a great challenge to be a parent. As your teenager's English teacher, I wanted to make a video especially for you. Summer is coming, trips abroad have been cancelled, and maybe you're starting to feel a little concerned about your kids' level of English declining. So in this video, I'm going to swiftly move through a few tips that I want to give parents who want their child to keep practicing English with confidence and ease and motivation. English is much more than a subject, don't you think? To me, it's a fascinating open door onto the world through which your son or daughter will be able to communicate and share with other people around the world. One thing before I start, and this is a scientifically proven fact, a respectful, caring and kind communication is the very ground on which teaching must thrive. A good educator is someone who understands and applies this very simple rule. No one can learn through constraint, apprehension, or pressure. Our brain, our knowledge, our skills develop when we as individuals are treated kindly. Kids who walk into a classroom knowing that everything will be alright, that the adult facing them will provide a demanding but respectful framework are, from the outset, and I'm convinced of that, programmed to succeed. So here come my very first tip. If you want to be efficient, always put yourself into your kids' shoes. What would be the ideal teacher or context for you to learn a language confidently? What did you like most about your inspiring teachers at school? How do you like to be spoken to? What is the best way for you to remember something? Do you enjoy to be sitting down in the quiet? Or do you prefer to listen to music and to stand up? Ask yourselves these questions. Really do it. And once you've done it, ask them to your child. As if you were doing a fun psychological test. You know, the ones where we tick boxes? That's fun. If you do this very simple preparatory task, two things will happen. One, you will create a safe and caring environment in which your child will feel secured and understood. And two, you will be able to adapt to the way your child likes to learn. Always bear in mind that we are unique individuals. Your brain, my brain, your kid's brain, all have their own ways of processing knowledge and memories and emotions. If you want your child to learn, you must observe first and then act. That's how you'll become inspiring. Believe me, I know how hard it is to make someone want to learn something, especially when it comes to kids who've been depleted in the past. But you can do it. You can do it very simply by knowing what areas your child is interested in. In short, it is essential to create communication situations in which English becomes a need and a source of stimulating joy. I know that some of these areas of interests you as a parent might find a little boring or silly or not intellectual enough. You may want to roll your eyes when you hear a rap song or sigh at the thought of playing a video game. That can happen. But it's our mission to step into your kid's world and adjust to it. Once you're on the tracks and you feel that your kid wants to learn and even asks for it, wow, you've made a big step forward and you can move on, and then you can start sharing things about you. It's like saying, you know, now I know your brain, now I know your tastes. Let me show you the way of improving all this. Everybody knows this. A foreign language needs practice. Learning a foreign language is like learning a new instrument. 10 minutes a day is a great start. But you will see, sometimes when we enjoy learning, time just disappears. We are so lucky to live in a country where culture is just one click away. Activities are abundant and everywhere. Music. Singing a song together, paying attention to the lyrics, looking them up, trying to translate them is an energizing way to learn new words and expressions. It can be a song your kid likes or sings all the time, or one that he or she has discovered thanks to you. The brain response to music is instinctive. You can sing while driving, while cooking, while cycling. You will see how miraculously words and accents and expressions and rhythm get printed into you. Games now. Well, in terms of games, there are plenty of fields in which you can invest. Whether it be a board game or a video game, asking your kid to explain something to you in English, something very basic, and you yourself trying to name elements of this game will be a source of laughter, of experience, of stimulation. There are many games online and available in specialized stores. Cinema. There is something soothing about sitting comfortably in a sofa and watching a film with the ones we love. It's cozy, it makes us feel happy, we can make popcorns, we can have a mug of hot cocoa. Now, ask your kid to choose a film that he or she has already seen and enjoyed, or choose one that you think will be uplifting, and put on subtitles and pause every time a new word or expression comes up. Look it up together, and you can write it down in a cinema vocabulary notebook that you can keep near the TV set. It can be a fun ritual. You can also watch the movie bit by bit if you want it to be a short time activity. The news. Now, I know that these days news can be really depressing, but they can also be a source of knowledge on how other countries work on their economy, ecology, politics, etc. You can play a short podcast while doing a chore, for example, hanging out the wash or gardening. And then you can discuss its basic articulation, ask basic questions. Who, where, when, what. Report and summarize what you have understood. And you can do this in French, and it can be a great training for the E3C exam. Acting. Speaking another language has always struck me as a formidable acting exercise. When you speak another language, you transform yourself into another version of yourself. You do not use the same facial expressions, the same tones, the same accent. For teenagers particularly, this can be very intimidating. And what can turn an intimidating exercise into fun? Well, playing. So imagine a situation, a character, an emotion, and then play and insist on the fun. For instance, you can pretend that you are a great cook and that you're gonna give a recipe, and you do it in the kitchen and you explain steps that are necessary to make your recipe. There are so many things that you can do, and if you need any advice, I will be there to help. Don't forget that acting is also a great way to prepare future oral exams. Acting is an exhilarating experience. That, to me, is the key to reconciling yourself with the fear of speaking in public. If you feel you're not really up to the task, well, you can always register your child to a drama workshop. These were but a few examples of all the things that you can do with your kid. Create a collaboration. Never be afraid as a parent to show your weaknesses. It always helps. You can keep a reminder of all the activities and challenges you did. You can write words on post-its and stick them all over the house or in your car. One last thing. Your child having a perfect accent should not be your priority at all. What matters most when you speak a foreign language is just not to be afraid to speak. So please, if you find that your kid has a very strong French accent, this should not worry you. Be nice and gentle, and do not ever laugh at your kid trying to express himself or herself. It is so important to remain caring. The accent is not relevant for now. I hope this video will help you to build a solid ground on which your child can keep practicing English and enjoy it. Take good care of yourselves. Bye bye, and see you soon.